Hi everyone, welcome to the show Talks with Dasha, where we take a deep dive into the world of tech news, startups, innovation, and venture capital. As your host, I'll be your guide on this exciting journey. Together, we'll uncover the latest trends, explore groundbreaking ideas, and interview industry leaders. My name is Dasha, let's get started. The topic of our discussion today is Seed by Seed, from responsible drinking to digital innovations. And I'm thrilled to have Janina Jahns, Culture, Content, and Experience Manager at Diageo. Hi, Janina. Welcome to the show.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for coming. So let's start from your job title right away. It sounds a little bit complicated, but before we dive deeper into that, I'd like to say a few words about the company itself. So Diageo is a global leader in premium drinks, the most exciting consumer products category. So you have more than 200 brands and sales in more than 180 countries. So we all know these brands: Jonny Walker, Guinness, Baileys, Smirnoff, Captain Morgan, Don Julio. So, Janina, culture, content, and experience. And if content makes sense for me, so I'd like to learn a little bit more what stays behind culture and experience. Is that how you help people to create future worth celebrating?
Yeah, so I think this topic of culture changed a lot during the past years for us, and within Diageo, I think in the past it was more like influencer and PR, which was a priority for us. Now we actually say, like everyone else, we have to be closer to our consumers and being really consumer centric. So, and that's basically being in culture, because everything around us, everything which we are doing, every social movement is basically culture. And what I'm actually responsible for is like understanding those kind of things better, like what is really moving our consumers, and then how we can tap into those topics, into those like festivals or societies as well. So that's the culture piece, and then experiences, and that's what we all are realizing, especially after COVID, that we are searching for experiences, which could be in the digital world, but also in the real world. So like if it's VR and all the things which are happening, or if it's going to a festival, or just having a nice experience when you're going to a store and buying something, that are which we are looking into as well, and like getting those through the line.
Yeah, so all levels of experience that you can get is all about that, right?
Yeah, so yeah, you're craving it.
Amazing. And what about your experience of moving to Miami? Yeah, you've recently relocated to Miami from beautiful Amsterdam. So how's the change treating you?
I love it. It's really, really nice. I'm actually happy to be here in Miami. We just had our Thanksgiving dinner at our office yesterday, and we said like, oh my God, we are actually realizing how many people in our company are jealous. So I talked to my European colleagues yesterday and today, and they were like, oh my God, it's getting winter. It's getting cold. We have a storm. And I'm just like, no, sun is out, 28 degrees. So it's nice. So no, I'm really happy. And for me, it's really good also because I'm close to our LAC market. So I'm responsible for Latin America and the Caribbean. So it's good for me also to go faster to visit our markets as well. So I love it. It's nice.
Very That's different. Amazing. So I guess the relocation part is closely related to the market that you're responsible for. Am I right?
Yes. So Miami is basically one of our core offices as from a regional perspective for Latin America and the Caribbean. I'm always joking, like some other persons as well, that we say basically Miami is the capital of luck. So we have like so many cultural influences here as well, which is also helping. And it's also good for me to learn Spanish here. So I have a lot of Spanish communities around me here as well.
Yeah, that's for sure. The best practice you can get, like 100%. Yeah, so welcome to Miami, and we're really happy to see you here. So, but it's really interesting because you came from Europe. Do you notice any differences between the drinking habits? I don't know if I can say it this way, between drinking habits of Europeans and Americans.
Yeah, I would say there are like quite some big differences. You see it also in the portfolio. We have a different portfolio in LAC than in Europe in certain areas. So, for example, Buchanan's and Old Par are brands which we actually not distributing to Europe. So that are very Latin American brands and relevant in the US as well. And for me, really personally, I'm like when I'm trying certain kind of drinks, if it's here in the US, but also in LAC, if it's mixed drinks, it's very sweet. So I'm like
Sweet. Uh-huh.
sweet, yes, yes. So I would say, like from very subjective personal experience, I see a lot of very sweet drinks here. And what is very common is as well drinking scotch neat or on the rocks, or maybe mixed with soda, not mixed in different drinks. So that's
Mm-hmm.
very interesting to see. And like the zero point zero products we have, they're pretty big in Europe, launched already with different like Gordon zero point zero, Tanqueray zero point zero. They launched now Captain Morgan zero point zero as well, which is not that yet that well established in LAC. So interesting to see those different kind of movements as well.
Uh-huh. So the trend of drinking low alcohol or zero alcohol drinks is not yet like in the States, yeah, but it's in Europe. So it's
Yeah, it's
more in Europe. Uh-huh. This is interesting. But if we just compare like beer or scotch, so yeah, because I guess these are like the most popular categories in general. So in States, what do people prefer more?
At being honest, I think globally beer is something which people love to drink. So,
Yeah.
which is yeah, and also like there's a premiumization in beer, so a lot of people are also like even paying more for a certain kind of beer. So you see that a lot. But we also have a lot of products, for example, Johnny Blonde, which is like positioned in the same area, like occasion actually, we can say like it's an alternative to beer. So we have a lot of products
Mm-hmm.
which are like basically standing next to beer as an alternative, because you also want to switch up and like maybe change a little bit. So that's yeah. But Scotch category for us is a big category, and of course, which
Yeah.
is something which we are all aware right now, tequila is booming.
Ah, so I guess tequila is really probably, I believe so, is really popular in Florida, right?
Yeah, it's I think it's even starting to become a global phenomenon.
Oh,
So
so it's a global thing, not only American.
yeah,
Uh-huh.
no, so a lack, of course, it's big as well, but you see even more and more like people drinking tequila in Europe as well, which I think is very interesting, because we had like like due to a red hat, a lot of bad experiences with tequila in Europe before. So now the like good tequila from Mexico is coming over, and there, yeah, everyone is drinking more and more tequila as well.
Yeah, no, this is very interesting, because like I personally organize a lot of events and very often we hire like a bartender. And of course, like while preparing, I ask bartenders, like, what do people drink more? And usually, yeah, like tequila becomes like more and more popular because before they didn't recommend it. And right now I hear like, okay, maybe some tequila, and I'm like, really? Like, I wouldn't even think about that. I would just go with like Prosecco, champagne or like wine. So it's interesting to see new trends coming, right?
Yeah, it's really nice to see, and even for like let's say at more advanced tequila markets, mezcal is coming up as well, which is more smoky. So it's yeah, it's very interesting. So if you ask me what's the next upcoming boom, I
Uh-huh.
think it's tequila. So, but yeah, let's see. I'm
But
curious.
also, sorry, a little question here. When we mean tequila, we mean only like tequila itself, like a raw drink, or like in cocktails, like tequila sunrise or these types of things?
Both, I
Both.
think like for so we see trend and premium tequila with our Don Julio 1942, which is like drink neat, so you're like pure. So, but you also see a lot of like margaritas and like drinks coming up.
Margaritas, yeah, exactly.
Paloma is like people love palomas as well. So there are a lot of yeah. No, I think it's in general. It's like also versatile, so you can do a lot with it. So I think people are getting more and more curious to explore this category as well. Same
Yeah.
with Scotch. Yeah. So yeah.
No, interesting, interesting. Thank you for sharing. But like a personal question, how did you get into drinking? I mean, how did you get into this market of alcohol beverages? How did it
Yeah.
happen?
So I'm actually like an initially said it like how culture developed from our side at Diageo as well. I'm actually a traditional PR person, so I started to work
Uh-huh.
at Edelman, which is a big PR agency, also big in the US. So I started in Germany as a trainee there, and like one of my first clients was Bacardi.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, so worked for quite a while for Bacardi on agency side. Then I like got some new clients and worked also for a while in cosmetics, but
Oh.
being honest, I saw at a certain point I'm closer to spirits. I love community.
Not sure
No,
if it's good or bad, but
no, it's. I think it's like even I worked a lot with hairdressers, which is also it's a craft. It's really interesting to see what they're doing. But I think for me, like the socializing aspect of like really working in the spirits industry and working with bartenders and with this whole community, it's for me. I love this community. I love like working with bartenders, socializing with them. So I think that was something which I was always interested in. So I had the opportunity to work on agency side for Diageo and then made the move to the company directly 5 years
but
ago.
but it's really interesting. So like it's is it like a part of your job that you have to communicate like on a daily basis to bartenders or like or not really, like how often do you actually like talk to them and see like what's going on like in real life in the bars, in different places, nightclubs?
And I would say like daily base, not like sitting every day in a bar is maybe not,
Yeah.
not the
Well,
best.
too bad.
So, but being honest, it's funny. Yes, it's part of your life. Yeah. So if I'm going out, I'm checking what is in the bar and like what kind of products they're having there, and like I'm also having conversations with the bartenders to just understand what's working for them,
Hmm.
and also like going into stores and shops and like I take like pictures if I see a very nice display of a different brand
Hmm.
or like also even not maybe not even a spirits brand, but I don't know, food or sweets or whatever, and you're just inspired by that. So I think there's it's becoming part of your life. Um, and I think it's also important, even though it's maybe not my core priority to, or like it's not my job directly to
Yeah.
create displays or anything. It's just important to understand what's working, maybe as well. And this is just like also part of like what we always say we want to have a clear consumer journey. So it's important to understand how a consumer is moving through the world, has different touch
Yeah.
points and what is happening there, and that's basically what we are doing as well. And also there's nothing more valuable than having conversations with your customers or consumers and understanding what they desire.
For
So I think
sure.
that's really important. Yes, so that's part of the business. I even have friends which work for different kind of so for competitors
Oh
basically as
my
well.
god.
It's
Don't
crazy.
tell anyone.
No. So
But this is so smart, it's so smart. But
yes.
so if I see you in the supermarket walking around the alcohol section and taking pictures, so there is no surprise. So I'm
No,
like,
don't.
okay, this is Janina. She's doing her job well.
So
Yeah,
she's
yeah, yeah.
curious again, but I'm always walking through a grocery store, and it's like exploring a museum for me. Oh, that is interesting. Nice packaging. So yeah, it's part of life. Yes.
Wow. So you see, for most part of, like women or people in general, it's such a boring thing, and they try to do it like with Uber Eats. But for you, it's like, you see, it's like a museum. Okay. That's pretty
Interesting.
interesting. And, I actually also want to ask you about the website that your company has, because it looks incredibly user friendly, transparent, comprehensive. And when I was doing research while I was preparing to this interview, it was super easy to use. So are you the one to blame?
I mean, I'm happy to take this compliment, but I'm not the person to blame. So no,
No?
no. So I'm not even sure. I think that's handled by our global corporate relations team, our digital team. I'm not very clear. So we have different kind of websites. We have like the website for Diageo directly, and then we have brand websites as well. So for Baileys, for Johnny Walker, we have brand pages. And then we have also pages like, for example, The Bar, which is an online platform where we actually where you can purchase our
Hmm.
products as well. So no, I'm neither nor responsible for those websites. I'm like working closely connected with those digital teams, and we are now starting to check what kind of content we can even use more on those pages
Hmm.
and like really make it more relevant and like localize certain kind of content as well and like put it on. Because if you have great campaigns running out there, which are maybe also with the talent, it makes sense to reflect this on the websites. Coming back to this holistic consumer
Yeah,
journey,
yeah.
so that's more the part I'm working on. So, but yes, it's great to hear that this page is very,
No,
very,
no,
very good.
really. No, really, and it's really cool because like I've been working in tech entrepreneurship for
Yeah.
80 years, and very often, you go to the website, you see a lot of beautiful website of companies, of startups, but you
Mm.
cannot understand anything because you have to look for this information, so it's not clear. And when you go to your website, to the Diageo website, it's really clear and easy to use. So you see different sections, everything is so transparent. Yeah, great job, guys. Honestly, great
Yeah.
job.
And
And
it's
yeah, sorry, go ahead.
no. I think it's even like great to hear this because like when we say Diageo, like it's really depending on which like surrounding you are, but also like in which country you maybe are. But most of the people don't know Diageo. Which is like, but when you start talking about the brands, they like, yeah, I know you. So
Yeah,
no, it's very interesting also to see that you then with this great page have the opportunity to actually understand
yeah.
what a kind of amazing old brands are behind it and what kind of ambitions we actually have as well, which is great. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. And let's discuss active portfolio management because when I think about it, it reminds me of VC a little bit, similar to what we do in venture capital. You have a portfolio of strategically acquired brands in high growth categories. So, first of all, what are these high growth categories when we talk about alcohol beverages, right? And so have these preferences, what people like drinking, change over the time? You mentioned that tequila is growing right now, yes, becoming more popular. But what else? So high growth categories and like what are the drinks that people actually like drinking and how did it change with time? So
I
three
would
questions in one.
Yeah, I would say they all love our products. We have great products. So no,
Of course.
yes. No, I think like for us, like one of the priorities is our Scotch portfolio as well. We're like the
Scotch. Hmm.
biggest spirits company with the biggest Scotch portfolio as well. So it's a big priority for us, and it's a big, I think also diversifying factor for us to have like those amazing Scotch brands. Yeah, so we have like brands like Jonny Walker, which are very obvious, but Talisker, Lagavulin, and we have like so many great malts
Hmm.
as well in our portfolio. So I think that is something which is very, very unique. Seeing right now also Don Julio and Casamigos booming is
Yeah.
amazing. So, and of course, in Europe and during the past years, we had a huge gin trend. So brands like Tanqueray and Gordon's were,
Gin. Hmm.
yeah, interesting, huh? So like not gin is
Yeah.
lac is very big in Brazil or was starting to grow. In the past, gin in Europe like it was big, like like so many gin brands popped out of
Yeah.
the. So were created as well. So it's like it's a big thing. So, but for now, I would say Scotch is of course a priority for us and very important. But we have like it's really depending on the market how we are prioritizing and looking into certain kind of things.
But so you mentioned that Scotch is like probably the highest growing category, right? So people used to drink Scotch. They're still drinking and nothing has changed here, right? So it has been growing for many, many years. Is that correct?
Yeah, so I wouldn't share any like what's growing or not, but so for what is very like what I can say is like
Yeah.
Scotch is like with the diverse portfolio which we have is a very important category for us as well, and it's
Okay,
also
so diverse. Okay, so you have like a variety of different options. Hmm.
yes, yes, and I mean like, and I think in general, and that's what I'm really convinced of. Like, what one of our core strengths is the diversity which we have. So I think it's really rare to have like so many different categories reflected
Yeah.
from like Scotch, we have gin, we have vodka, we have Bailey's, which is
Yeah.
really unique as well. We have Guinness, so we have a real big offer which is like actually interesting for bar owners as well because we actually can deliver for every category. We even have vermouth, so it's yeah with everything. So which is
Wow.
amazing.
Yeah. So many. Yeah. So kind of like everyone can find something for himself, right?
Yeah,
And I also noticed that you're actively investing in marketing effectiveness tools, and I guess you're the right person to ask about this, right? So, marketing effectiveness tool, digital and data capabilities. So, can you please tell us a little bit more about them from a marketing perspective? Yes. So, what is your secret sauce? How do you use these tools? Tell me more.
So yeah, for us, it's really important to understand which assets are performing. It's a lot of testing, it's creative X. So we have like different kind of tools which we are onboarding to really understand performances of assets, to optimize and to like really learn from it. I think that, and that's really something which is a culture which is getting more and more established to use more data and also generate more learnings out of those kind of data as well, which I think is in you see it in creative assets, but we also onboarded influencer tools like Tracker to really have more visibility on performance,
Mm-hmm.
optimize investments behind those kind of influencers, and also look into benchmarking. So we see more and more tools be used to really like make our investments more effective. So that's on like all the bases. And I think that for me, one of the core is what I'm always saying, like we have a lot of tools, we have a lot of data. I think it's really important to like really read this data as well and generate learnings out of it and like circulate it in the right way. Because it's great if you do a testing, but you
Yeah.
don't act. So that's really, really important.
Yeah, and I guess that based on this data that you get, right, you do these active portfolio managements, right? So you make decision what brands are like better, yeah, what brands are more popular, what is less popular. So you can build your strategy based on this knowledge, right?
Yeah, it's I think there are like different factors on like of course how are consumers reacting. Then it's also like what are the opportunities in general
Mm-hmm.
of which we see. It's a lot of like innovation thinking as well. So I think there are like different parts which are coming together. But I think that's the beauty of like actually data that you can like understand consumer behavior more and to like start to predict those kind of things a little bit more, like can look into general society, what kind of topics and trends are coming up, what kind of
Yeah.
flavors and changes are happening. So to really look into that's interesting for us in terms of innovation. Yeah. So what's happening there? And then of course, sometimes it's also just like a different way of socializing. So how can we like maybe we have a great brand which actually taps perfectly into this way of socializing. So it's just a different way of communication. So I think there are like different ways of like optimizing and like changing the positioning of the brands and like priorities as well.
Yeah, and like I think like probably alcohol market, yeah, drinks in general, it's a very traditional sphere, right? It's been here for a while. It's not like something new, right? It's not ChatGPT or something like AI. But at the same time, like how innovative is this sphere? So because you're using a lot of new tools, I guess that there are some changes, right? So how would you assess this like level of innovation here?
I think we are very curious and we are trying a lot of things. So it are also depending on the markets, but I saw a lot of AI stuff happening
Mm-hmm.
right now in the US. There are like certain kind of trials which we are happening also with new technologies. Of course, like also artificial intelligence is like we have
Yeah,
to be careful with rights and stuff like this, so that are all, of course, like
that's a
everyone is
very good point,
yeah,
right? Mm-hmm.
there are a lot of conversations which are coming up. I think, like for us, as we take the topic of age gating and like really communicating to a certain audience very, very
Mm-hmm.
serious, certain kind of tools are currently not possible, or like social media channels are not possible for us to use because they're not providing us with this
Yeah,
security layer.
yeah.
So I think that like yes, so we are very keen to explore within the set conditions we have. So we have the Diageo marketing code, and that's like really giving us clear guidance and like what we can experiment with and what not, because we have to secure a certain kind of communication in terms of responsible drinking, in terms of like really communicating to the right audience and those kind of things. So that's important for us, which is sometimes I think giving us compared to competitors like more not restrictions but more boundaries on like where we are playing. I think some
Mm-hmm.
competitors are sometimes stretching those limits a little bit more than we are.
Yeah, but definitely, you're such a big company and you might be potentially interested for many, startups to collaborate with. So are there any opportunities for like high-tech startups to collaborate with Diageo? And do you have like a room for pilot projects with startup? Or have you ever had anything like that?
So I'm always curious to see opportunities. I think like, and that's how most of the time start certain kind of things. We're not directly going big, but of course, like tools right now, which we have like Tracker, are global tools now, but they started in two
Mm-hmm.
markets to be tested. So it's always good. And like, of course, if like have smaller projects to just try something, it's always interesting to like figure out some new stuff and try some new ways of communication, of
Mm-hmm.
like gathering data, like using data as well. So that's something I'm open to. It's always, of course, a question like what is currently fitting, what is an opportunity, do we have something in place already, and those kind of things. There are different
Yeah, of
factors
course.
to consider. But yes, we are like, for me, it's really, I'm very curious to see what is possible, explore new opportunities, and like also work in a different way. Coming back to innovation, I think you also have to, like I said, it's a
Yeah.
established category, and we also have to do things in a different way, and we have to be disruptive. So I'm always curious to see new ways of how we can do that. Yeah.
Yeah, so if you're a founder watching us right now, you know the right person to reach out to. Yeah, no, but that's great. I think the most important thing is just to stay open and curious, exactly, because it doesn't mean that all solutions would be applicable for your company, right? But just to learn how this sphere going, what are new tools, it's really, really important because either way, you will not move forward, correct?
Yeah.
And I'm truly impressed by the initiative that you have at Diageo. And, like, as far as I understand, one component of your strategy is very interesting is responsible or positive drinking. It actually sounds pretty funny, but yeah, tell me, how does this differ, responsible or positive, or is it the same? And how do you aim to achieve this goal? Because clearly, when you hear Diageo alcohol drink, you think, what do you mean, like responsible drinking? If we're talking about drinking, so what is that actually?
I mean, I think it's important for us to say we want people to enjoy good drinks.
Yeah.
So that's part of our culture, but it needs to be balanced. Yeah. So and that's for us like really educating around what is alcohol consumption like clarify certain kind of mystic and rumors around alcohol, saying
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, if I drink a glass of beer, it has less alcohol, like a glass of wine has less alcohol than a cocktail with 1 unit of alcohol, which is not the case. Those kind of things,
Yeah, yeah.
like really those kind of educations, but also saying like, have a glass of water when you're drinking, don't drive, those kind of things. So we have different kind of campaigns which we're running really on responsible drinking in terms of educating. It's always part of all our events. So we like have people like educating around that you have to have your water. We always, when we have an event, have always water stations as well. So it's just like really being, and we have also like programs to go into high schools, even to like educate around like all like
Mm-hmm.
younger people to really, you don't have to test your limits and getting knocked out. This is not necessary. So like you can enjoy in a responsible way. So and that those kind of topics are really, really important for us because it's about enjoying and not about like testing limits and drinking too much.
Yeah,
So it's,
exactly. I love how you say tested limits. That's such a beautiful expression. Exactly. So it's not like just partying all the day and night round, right? It's about really like feeling this drink, enjoying it, having pleasant conversation with your friends and family, right? And so as far as I understand, these are like three main parts of responsible drinking. So it's like drinking for enjoying. So drinking among kids, as you said, yeah, as you mentioned, schools and different programs to educate kids, and also drinking and driving, right? Because
yeah.
it's also the issue. So you explain that like it's not good to drink and drive, and what like measures can you take in order to avoid any problems. And you also mentioned water stations at the event. I really love this idea because when you think of events, clearly water should be there, but sometimes I had experience of going to some events where you have the options only like wine or beer, and you're like, what if I'm not drinking? What if I'm breastfeeding? I don't know, or I'm driving, and like, do you have water? No, we don't. And this is really interesting. So sometimes it happens that the event organizers, they do not count on this, so they want to provide great experience, but sometimes they forget about these little essential things that can actually be super
Make a
important,
big
right?
difference, yeah. And I think and that's what we really take serious. And it's also, I think I'm always saying, and I hope I'm not offending anyone, but for me, it's like I also figure out if it's a good bar, if you, when you order a drink, get directly a glass of water, or you're sitting down and get directly a glass of water. Because for me, it's a part of a good service at a good bar that you have this accompanied. So,
Mm-hmm.
so that's for me that is really really important, and I think that's also for us as a company. We take this very very serious, and we are, it's also part of like like I said, our campaigns is really part of our messaging, and yeah, even education programs, which I'm really proud of, that we do all those kind of things, yeah, to make a change.
No, that's really amazing, and
Yeah.
I think you're doing a great job. And we touched this topic a little bit with you, so that there is a growing trend for consumers to choose no or low alcohol drinks. So, what stays behind this drink? And you also mentioned that it's more for Europeans rather than for Americans for now. But like, how did the trend appear? Like, and what is the reason that it exists?
Yeah, as I'm not working for the US, I don't know if it's not an existing trend. I don't know the data behind it. I just know that the brands which I used to work for zero point
Mm-hmm.
zero in Europe, so they're not yet here launched the products. So for example, we launched in Europe Tanqueray zero point zero, we launched Gordon zero point zero, we launched Tanqueray Sevilla zero point zero, so different flavor. You see also the gin background, yeah. So,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
so and a lot of it is really that we see consumers want to moderate in a different way. Like I said, sometimes you don't have options, or the only option is a Coke or a water.
Yeah,
And
yeah, exactly.
yeah, so, and I think it's like giving different options. If you say like, yeah, no, I would love to socialize with you guys. I would like to get a nice drink as well, but I don't want to have the alcohol in there. And that can have very different motivations. Yeah. So it's just like, it's a Monday and you don't want to have a drink because you have the whole week in front of you, and you
Mm-hmm.
maybe say like it's not my day, it's like it's so many, or you want to go for fitness afterwards, whatever. There are like so many arguments for that, and it's for us just like what we see, that more and more consumers are interested in like, yeah, I don't want to have, if I'm ordering a drink, I don't know, a sweet juicy whatever option mixed with coconut milk or something, so very sweet. I want to have like a decent drink, and that's the opportunity which we are now offering as well. And you see more and more consumers being interested in this as well, and like looking for those alternatives. And yeah, it's very interesting to see that this is a completely new category in
Mm-hmm.
spirits.
And it's like a recent development, right? Like maybe like 5, 10 years ago it started,
Yeah.
or like.
So we like, I think like one of the core first brands was Seedlip, which is also well known in the US, coming
Mm,
from UK. So that was like one of the initial non-alcoholic spirits. I mean, it's if we are honest, it's not a new development. You saw it
not
here.
on you. Okay.
No? So as a zero point zero beer is something which is very known. Is interestingly here for me also not that big selection like you see in, like especially in the Netherlands. I saw like so many zero point zero beers.
Yeah.
Yeah, and here it's like not that common.
Yeah.
So
Unfortunately.
but it's actually a development which you saw in beer, spirits happening, also existing in wine. Not too sure about that, to be honest. The wines.
But yeah, sorry, just because
Yeah,
I had 2 kids in a row,
yeah,
and clearly because of like pregnancy and breastfeeding, I was not able to drink alcohol. And while with beer, it's a little bit easier. But with wine, it's so bad. Yeah, I tried wine with like zero alcohol, and basically it tastes even worse than you can better drink a cup of juice, a glass of juice. So I don't know why is it so. Maybe the technology of producing the wine itself, or what stays behind that. But yeah, clearly it doesn't taste so good. Yeah.
so I tried it as well. I was like, So I
Yeah.
heard that there are now some new products coming into the market. I think it's tricky, and I think like that was one of the reasons why I was so excited when we launched Tanqueray 0.0, because that's a completely new production process. Because that never, this product never contained any alcohol, which is so exciting. So it's like created based on water, yeah, which
Yeah.
is actually to get like those oils and this like really juniper flavor into this product. It's, for me, it's just amazing to see this kind of magic. So because most of the
Yeah.
non-alcoholic products are just like they distill the alcohol out of it, so it contained alcohol, and then they take the alcohol out of it. But to create a product based on water is magic for me. So
Yeah,
yeah,
you
really.
see, so people are never happy. You have like juice, you have soft drinks. Why don't you just drink soft drinks or alcohol? Why do you need like non-alcohol drink? But yeah, we always want something more. Yeah, something interesting. We are curious to taste it. Yeah, but let's see what the future holds for us in terms of no-alcoholic drinks. But I'm really glad to see that there are some processes going on here. And the other aspects that is really, really important of your company, of your strategy, as far as I got it, is that you're focused on championing inclusion and diversity. So, what does it mean for you, and how do you actively implement this initiative within the company?
Yeah, I think me, myself, seriously, and also the company, we're really convinced that like having a diverse team is bringing the best creative to life. And
Yeah.
that's it's seriously, if you have like different cultural backgrounds, different perspectives, it's like just it's adding so much value. And what I can say, and I remember that I said it when I was at a conference in Amsterdam, but then now moving from Amsterdam to Miami, I can even underline it more. It was just like going to our offices and seeing
Mm-hmm.
so many nationalities. It's just, for me, it's just it's amazing because we really say we're not just talking, we're also walking the talk. Yeah. So, and it's like really, we have really diverse teams. We like give a lot of opportunities, share opportunities to move. Like I was moved from Berlin to Amsterdam, now moved to Miami, and have the opportunity as a non Latin American person, not even yet Spanish speaking
Yeah.
person, to work with the Latin American market. So it's like it's really really amazing to have those opportunities and this exchange, and like saying like also, even if you're not like rooted in this culture, you have the opportunity to add value for us here as well. So seeing this and like giving those opportunities in terms of career is something which we're really doing and embracing. And in the other hand is of course like a responsibility which we see as like a big media investor, like a big company, that we
Mm-hmm.
like bring it to life in our campaigns as well. So with like our diversity and inclusion goals and progressiveness goals in terms of how are we setting up campaigns, what kind of talents are we using in front and behind the camera,
Mm-hmm. In this
the
way as well. Mm-hmm.
yeah, an investment behind, so that we also say like we look into partnering with certain kind of companies which have also I don't know, like a diverse background, Hispanic or whatever, Asian
Mm-hmm.
background. So it's like it's really something which we want to live, and we're really taking also, because if you're honest, like in the past, you see now a recent change. I think I would say like in the past 5 years, but like the advertisements were always really white. Yeah, so
Mm-hmm.
a lot of now we actually start to reflect more of the reality. It's not oh everyone is perfectly shaped and every like.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's really something which we take very serious as well in terms of our campaigning and how we plan and produce as well. Yeah.
So it's hiring, it's producing, it's social media. Yeah, so there are so many spheres where you can work on that. Now, yeah, this is amazing. And I really love the fact that you highlighted that you as a non-Hispanic, yeah, person, you came to Miami and you got this chance to work with the Latino American market. And I guess it's really great experience for you in terms of personal and professional growth, and at the same time you can bring some new perspective, right? For example, when you hire the person of the same nationality, maybe they just see the same picture from the same angle, right? And you, or the person of a different culture, can bring something new to the table, correct?
Yeah, and that's we are always joking. I have my work buddy, my best friend. in the company, and she's Latin American. I'm the German, and she's sometimes calling me and like, I need your help. I need your pragmatism. So it's just like, and
No,
that's
yeah,
it's I mean it's I think you like for me it's really the amazing thing is like the culture and we always joke as well because I'm actually they say a Latin American at heart, so but it's like you really work in a different way and you really learn to enjoy how amazing this is because you can learn so much. And for me this is really like, even though I used to do culture before, yeah, also within the company, it's like completely different. Yes, my role is a different one, but also
yeah,
working with this like other cultural background, people with other cultural background, and like how we're working. That socializing in reality is way more important in Latin America than in maybe in Europe in certain parts. In Europe, we maybe come close faster to the point than in Latin
yeah.
America, where we really want to exchange and socialize as well and like really get to know each other. So, which I love. I love chatting. So I'm like really well settled here. So yeah, but it's amazing. So you really learn in a different way, which I think is for your career development really amazing to yeah like really start to understand also cultures, which I think is yeah is on so many value levels valuable. And like how do you communicate? How do you really listen? Yeah, and also how do you really like to your colleagues but also to your consumers because they have different interests, so like it's really
Exactly.
teaching you a lot. So yeah, I'm very grateful for this experience, I can say that.
Yeah, but at the same time, I believe that it's not so easy because, have you ever read the book The Culture Map, where they explain all these difficulties while communicating with people from different cultural backgrounds? So for you, is there a challenging moment as well, or everything goes so smooth always?
No, that would be a lie. So no, of course, no, of
Yeah,
course, I have challenging moments, and like I, of course, got also feedback already, like where people said like that was very direct, and I was like, okay,
yeah,
it's like
exactly.
yeah. So, and I that's interesting. But being honest, like if you're in Europe, you don't have to go to Latin America between a person from the UK and the Dutch and the German person, for example. The conversations are very Dutch and Germans, I would say, are more direct. UK persons are always very nice and more very like decent in the way how they're communicating. So I think there are like a lot of differences already. I had it also with, for example, Polish colleagues, and
Uh-huh.
that they like when they write mails, write your name and an exclamation mark, which I think like, why are they screaming at me? But it's
Yeah,
just the way,
yeah,
So how it's written. So I think it's just it's also training you to not take everything so personal. So and
yeah,
that's for me was like one of the biggest like learnings in the initial months that I said like, oh no, that's just how they do it. So nothing which is like related to me. And funny stuff is already like in Latin America, I learned they are shortening the names. So that's why I put Nina in. So
yeah,
because
yeah. I wanted to ask you about that. Yeah, like Janina, is it like the short version?
yes, so because like I realized that they always shorten the name, and they would say Jan to me, which is in German a very masculine name. So I said like I'm trying to control the narrative. Call me
By
Nina.
showing, yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, this
So,
is so smart.
yes, so
Yeah, no, no, but that's interesting. And like you can have a lot of maybe unpleasant situations, but at the same time, when you can laugh on that, this is amazing. Yeah, when you can laugh and learn and make some conclusions, this is really awesome. And another thing, I guess the third part of your strategy that I was interested in is investing in sustainability. So
mhm.
why is it important aspect for the company, and like what do you do in particular?
We do a lot here. So we have our Spirits of Progress agenda. So where we have like different parts of like really investing in water resources, diversity and inclusion is a part of this. So it's a really sustainable production, looking into alternatives of how we can yeah maybe not use glass or less glass, or how we can
Mm-hmm.
produce in a more sustainable way. And it's also like projects of like building water resources in certain areas as well. So I think it's an amazing and very ambitious agenda, which we take very serious. So we like always checking into this, into our progress there as well, and how we are delivering against it. And it's also, for example, also this responsible drinking part is also obvious. So we have like clear goals and like how many people we are reaching with our campaigns and how many persons we are really educating on those topics as well. So it's a very holistic plan which we have to take. And coming back to the topic which I said, like we are a big company, we have a lot of influence, and we also have a responsibility in society, and that's how we want to be part of this change as well.
Yeah, I think this is very important. The key word is responsible, right? That you take this responsibility to make this world better, to launch some great initiatives that can impact the world, right, and change it. So yeah, this is very, very interesting and great job. And I'm actually like learning more and more with our conversation about this market. It's super interesting. And you also mentioned that there are some like part of your education is that you talk about different stereotypes about alcohol and say whether they're true or not true. So I prepared a little quiz for you from past questions. So but these are like really things that I've heard many times in my life, and I want to know if they're true or not true. So let's begin our quiz. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the first question, I think we touched it slightly. So which of the following contains the most alcohol? A glass of wine, half pint of beer, a standard measure of spirits, or all of these?
It's all the same.
All this? How come? I don't understand.
That's it's the same amount of alcohol. It's if you like put 1 unit of alcohol, which is normally 4 cl, into a drink, it's all the same amount of alcohol in the end. It's like not the same amount of liquid, but it's the same amount of alcohol. So it's like I think it's I don't know where this misconception is coming from, but
But what about the strengths? Like, for example, Scotch is much stronger than the wine, no? Because of the degree.
yes, but they like drink more wine. So if you drink a glass of wine and drink like 4 cl of alcohol, it's the same amount. So if you would drink the same like 400 milliliters of spirits and 400 milliliters of wine, no, then it's more alcohol you're like basically drinking. But we
Yeah.
like saying, like a regular drink is made with 4 cl of alcohol, and a glass of wine is probably 200 ml.
Yeah.
So then it's the same amount of alcohol. So it's like actually,
So when you come to the bar and think, okay, I'm gonna take a light drink, so it doesn't work this way, right? So basically there is no difference. So you can have beer, Scotch, or wine, and like you'll feel the same way after each of them, right?
yes. Yeah.
So this is I think it's the biggest misconception in the world. Yeah, I don't know who is the one to blame, but for sure. Okay, question number 2. Before you drink, you should plan how you will get home, drink water, eat, or all of this.
It's all of this.
Again.
Ideally, you eat, that, and that's the point which we also say, like, don't drink and drive. So prepare a plan. If you know you have like 2 drinks the evening, find an alternative or opportunity to go home with someone, have a designated driver, have an Uber solution, know how you can go back home by public transport. So that's really important. Eat properly before, and also have your water in between.
So not to get too drunk, right? So food helps you like to get ready for the drink.
So exactly, it's just like we always say have a base, so and then I think it's just also not very very good to like drink without having any food the whole day. So it's very important to
And water, because like some people say, okay, so you have like drink wine, a little bit of water, wine, water. So that's how it works, or are there any more profound strategies, more advanced strategies?
It's just important to have your water, and like I think it's maybe also, especially when it's warm, people say like I drink something refreshing, and I have beer, and they don't have water in between and think that this is the thing for hydration. It's not the option. So always have your water at the side as well. It's just like the alcohol piece is for enjoyment, and then for hydration, if you get thirsty, drink your water. So that's really
Yeah,
cool.
you know, you sounds like a mom talking to a teenager. Come
Yeah.
on, kid, drink your water. Yeah, not
No,
only beer.
I'm like a mom. I have a lot of friends who are not really good in general drinking throughout the day water. I'm always saying it's also keeping your skin beautiful. So just drink
Yeah.
water. So it's like,
Exactly. But you know, one more misconception, I believe it's misconception, but you tell me. So, mixing beer, wine, and spirits gets you drunk more quickly. True or false?
it's false.
So, like, you can mix? Is it the answer?
Like in the end, coming back to the first question, it's containing the same amount of alcohol. I think like it's maybe from body to body that you're like sometimes have the feeling that you get like I don't know, you
Yeah,
can't
like
drink wine
headache, you know, yeah.
backward, but from a like just very scientific perspective,
Mm-hmm.
it's alcohol is alcohol is alcohol. So yes, it's not getting you more drunk or less. So yeah.
Okay. And you know, like I have a lot of friends, like basic, most of them are women, they're on a diet and they do not drink alcohol because of that. So if you want to cut down on calories in your drink, you should only drink wine. Beer and spirits are fattening. Is it true or false?
No, it's not true. So if you
So
don't
wine
want,
won't help you. I mean, so if you're on a diet, basically you just do not drink at all. There are no drinks that has like less calories or more calories, right?
and I would say like if you drink a drink with a lot of like sugary juice, then it's like at least or it's less supportive. But in general, if you're on a diet, you shouldn't drink.
Yeah,
So
but yeah,
that's
and yeah, cocktails. I think yeah, cocktails probably are the worst because they can contain a lot of sugar, right? A lot of like syrups, juices. So in this case, if you cannot say no to alcohol this evening, you better drink something like a pure like pint of beer or a glass of wine, correct?
yeah. I think if you like on a diet and you say you want to drink something, then drink what you enjoy because it's not going to make a huge difference. So like unless you really want to be on your diet, then you should like maybe skip a drink or find an alcohol-free alternative. So I think that's like, yeah, I don't know, because people think, yeah, beer, you get the beer belly and like everything. It's just like it's the alcohol is not helpful if you want to get loose off whatever fat or what you think you have.
Yeah, so no easy solution here.
Sorry.
No way. Okay, and the last one. So men and women are the same size, drinking the same amount of alcohol, feel the effects of alcohol equally. True or false?
It's false and it sounds
Oh
unfair.
no!
It
So
sounds
tell me
unfair.
more.
But it's really based on our hormonal structure. So to like really digest this alcohol, we don't have like the same amount of hormones like men to really yeah, digest it basically. So no, it's not the same.
So
So
from biological perspective, we're like a little bit different, right? So
yeah.
women get drunk faster if they drink the same amount of alcohol and they're like the same size more or less, right?
So, yeah, and we don't like digest it in the same or as fast as our male equivalent.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like it takes us more time to yeah digest it basically as well.
Okay, so we have to be more careful with that thing with drinking,
It
right?
seems to be unfair also in this way, yeah. So, but yeah, that's hormones. It's how it is for us as well, yeah.
Well, tough life. What can I say? but
Being
but
a
you know
woman.
that's really interesting. So at least like wrapping up this conversation, we know for sure that women have to be more careful because they get drunk faster. That if you're on a diet, you better skip a drink in general or drink what you enjoy, but without sugar better. And that actually there are no light drinks. I mean, it's they all contain the same amount of alcohol, whether it's beer, spirits, or wine, right? Okay, so I hope that our session was educational too, that we talked about responsible drinking, diversity and inclusion, and also we talked about sustainability. So, Janina, thank you so much. I wish you to keep settling down here in Miami, and I hope to see you in person for a cup of coffee. Welcome, welcome. I hope you will love Florida. and you will, like rock this market and achieve only great results here. And yeah, enjoy it. And thank you so much for being with us today. I really enjoyed our conversation.
Thanks so much for having me. It was really fun. And yeah, reach out if there are any new innovative things you want to share with me. I'm always happy to catch up and also connect in Miami. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, so dear Miami-based people, if you want me to introduce you to Janina, like feel free to reach out or reach out to her directly. She's a wonderful person. Thank you one more time.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye bye.